For instance, if you're into anti-corruption activities and you have to complement official structures, that's kind of vague.
Thank you. I would like to comment on the point 7. Resources is very important for network management, but if you raise more resources, then the network members want to have share on the resources, and then it creates problem and conflict with the network members and network management. And my experience is that in Bangladesh, many networks have been collapsed due to raising huge resources and also raising internal conflicts. So what's your experience in this regard?
I'll just do a quick response to those. In terms of the size of networks, I think it is actually very important to not grow too quickly. For a lot of network management is actually about managing paradoxes and managing contradictions. So while you want to have strength in high numbers, you also don't want to grow so quickly that you end up losing what made the network special in the first place. So within ALNAT, for example, for many years we had the number of full members set at 60. We didn't want to get any bigger than that. We started off with 12 organisations, and it grew over time to 60. And we knew that that was probably the limit at which we would be able to facilitate productive dialogue and discussion. But then what happened was that beyond that, our agenda started to broaden, and then we started to realise actually we can push it further. So I think it's really important to think about network size, but it's got to be in line with your strategy. It's got to be in line with what you're actually trying to achieve. In the point on complementing official structures, I think there are certain issues about, such as corruption, where complementing is a very challenging term, but it's not just about government. It's also about UN, for example, intergovernmental agencies. It can also often be about large civil society organisations. The idea is that when I say official structures, the idea is kind of a hierarchical structure that may not be able to do what a network can actually do. You and your organisation might not be able to do something as a project officer or as a senior manager, but when you go into a network, you can do and say things that are outside of it. What your organisation has to do is to allow you the space to be able to do that. And you as a network member have to be able to take those ideas back into the official structure. So the metaphor, if you like, is Lou Gerstner, who was the CEO of IBM in the 1980s, when IBM was being attacked by Microsoft on all sides and all these technology competitors. He said, our challenge is to make an elephant learn how to dance. And I actually think increasingly elephants can't dance. But there are some creatures like monkeys that can dance. So actually what you need to do is allow the network to do what it does well, allow the official structures to do what they do well and complement each other that way. But the point around corruption is very true. And I think, again, John made some really important points about how when change actually happened in a number of settings, it is because of having insiders within government that might well be attuned to the message of civil society. Even on anti-corruption legislation, you're not going to make it happen without being able to collaborate in some way with trusted individuals within official governmental structures. And the final point around resources, it's always going to be an issue because people are people. And I think the most important thing you can do is be honest about it. Be honest about the fact that we're in a sector where the resources are flatlining and maybe diminishing, and we all need to get more resources in order to do what we need to do. And if you're going to be serious about being a network, you need to be honest about the fact that, put your cards on the table. And where things get problematic is where you don't do that, where people try and have hidden agendas, everyone knows that it's there, everyone knows it's the conversation that you're not having. I think where networks actually work successfully is where you actually you have the courage to be able to do that. And again, leadership's really important there. I'm going to stop there for questions. There will be a little bit of time later on. It's just because we are running a bit late, having come back from lunch half an hour late. I'm just going to hand over to Marcus, who, just in light of what we've already been talking about networks, is just going to give us a brief refresher on the objectives and the functions of the global network.